All right, so let's go on first impressions. You got the box, you opened, you rode it for the first time. How was it?
It was a lot more power than I thought I was. I knew it was going to be a lot more power. I just didn't really know it in physical terms. The first ride I rode without the steering dampener. My upper chest area, shoulders a little sore. So if I recommend is don't try to ride it without the dampener. And just set it more on the tighter side to be more safe, to be safer out in the streets. Because once you start getting to higher speeds, you don't think a jump from 24 to 26 sounds like a lot, but once you're on the road and you're on one of those things, you start feeling all those increments. And you think you're going at 40 and you've only hit like 28, 29, almost 30. So that's another thing. It's, I guess, my perception of speed.
How was it pulling out of the box?
Pulling out of the box, it says it there in the manual, if you're gonna do, you have to do this with two people. It needs to be with two able-bodied people, strong people. You don't want to get, someone who's weaker or frail trying to help you with that, because they can seriously injure themselves. I did it by myself. I didn't want to risk getting my wife getting injured, so I did it myself. It was very heavy, and it is still very heavy. It doesn't get any lighter by the day. But one thing you do notice is that upper body strength can start to develop, especially having the wider steering bars. That makes it a lot easier to turn without having to make a lot of movement. Another thing is, one thing I didn't realize I had a need for with the other scooter, upgrading scooters like this, is like, yes, I have the lights and the display, but when I have the buttons here at night, I can't see. I got myself these little glove things here. They go right over your glove or your hand, and you're just wrapping them around. Turn them on there. And that pretty much solves that.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
So I see you got, which model did you get?
I got the Nami Burn-E 2 Max. And I got the mirrors, of course. Honestly, there's no reason why, unless you're planning to ride this in some off-road area, or a place where there's not going to be anyone else, you need those mirrors. If not just for cars, but also for other cyclists and things like that. It tends to sneak up on you, especially those delivery drivers. So,
those delivery guys are crazy.
I think the most important thing is that you once you get over the hype, if you for me, this is the closest thing I've ever owned to a vehicle. This is, I certainly feel the weight of the responsibility of riding this thing. So you wouldn't want someone I would never recommend something like this for someone who just got the money to burn, even if they have money to burn, no, because they don't have a life to burn. So
that is true. That's a good point.
So,
and you were riding what before?
Before I was riding the new KQi3 Max, and that was an excellent scooter.
And how was it jumping from that to this?
Oh, but there's a reason why there's different tiers to this. There's levels to this. The KQi3 Max is very good for what it is, but if you live in the city, you need the suspension, even if you have good roads, because at some point you're gonna have to hop off the curb or hop on to the curb, and there might not be a little ramp or any lip there for you to ride on, and that's very convenient because you might avoid an accident by just jumping on the curb.
So let me ask you this. It was heavy bringing it out of the box.
Yeah.
How is it heavy just moving it around?
It's very heavy. As you can see, I'm 38 years old. I'm a smoker, but I still managed to lift this up. I can lift this up right now. As you can see, this isn't a scooter that you're gonna lift up with one hand. I think unless you're someone who's ridiculously strong, abnormally strong, you wouldn't be able to do it with one hand. But the good thing, it has the bars here. It makes it very easy and comfortable to grab a hold of. So if you're wearing gloves, which you should, you want to position. That one's a pretty much dead giveaway to hold on to there. The next one, the position of your hand, you might want to feel like going for this right here, and this feels nice. But the thing is, remember, this steers out, and you're smushing your fingers in there. So you're gonna want to hold it from down here. That's how I hold it. And if I only need to get like up 3 stairs, then I'm not gonna lift the whole thing up. I don't have to do it. I'll just, um, you know, tighten the brakes right here, the rear brakes. And maybe I'll try to put. I was tightening the wrong brakes. And maybe like lift it up there like this. Like let's say the stairs are parallel to me.
Yep.
Right. I'll just do this. And then once it's on,
and that's a trick to get on the stairs.
Yeah. And then once you got onto the top stairs, then you want to lift from the back and do it that way. That way you're not carrying all that weight at once, because even though you're only going 2 or 3 stairs, you only need 1 slip, and you got 100 pounds laying on top of you. Who's gonna lift that off of you?
How about the brakes?
The brakes, excellent brakes. It's the best, because the brakes, when you brake, you feel like you're braking. The ABS, you feel it working. Most of the time I use it, because to use the ABS, all you gotta do is just lightly pull on the brakes a little bit and you'll hear it. It sounds like a cicada, right? And they only go off when it's necessary. If you're going so slow that it doesn't really need the ABS, it's not gonna go off. So that's a wonder, because sometimes I don't know how fast I'm actually coming in, but the ABS kicks in. Notices I've been holding on to the brakes for a while, and kicks in a little tighter and slows it down even more. So that's very convenient. Obviously, for piston hydraulic brakes, it's not this thing's stopping. I don't know if you're gonna stop, but this thing is definitely stopping if the brakes go off. So it's just it's a marvel. It's honestly, I think this is something that I think even police forces should have, as a means of travel, rather than a horse or a bicycle, whatever that they use.
That's true. How comfortable do you think it is?
Well, how comfortable it is? How comfortable are you standing? That's the thing. How comfortable are you standing in general? If you're not someone who's comfortable standing, you have to have some sense of balance, because it really depends how fast you want to travel. If you're riding at speeds, top speed 20 miles an hour, 15, let's say 15, you really don't need to know any super moves. Go. But anything above that, suddenly you start to realize you need to shift your weight a little bit in your hip, positioning your legs, and stuff like that. You're gonna naturally start to pick up on as you ride your scooter more.
How about the suspension?
The suspension, the great thing about the suspension is this is my first scooter with a suspension. It has the adjustable suspensions right here to adjust the rebound, and then it brings a little key to adjust the springs as well, the length of the springs. But it's very soft, very plush. No complaints. I have a very weak lower back, and no complaints here. And I can still manage to lift this thing clear off the ground if I needed to. Here, I'll do a demonstration for legal purposes. So,
yikes!
You just got to remember, you're not picking up a box of paper plates, so you're gonna want to tighten your core a little bit. They always say bend with your knees, but it's like your knees are kind of in the way, so you can't just bend with your knees.
Was it bigger than you thought it would be when?
Yes, but not by much. Cause I kind of had a good visual estimate of what it was and all that. It's what I love about it. It's exactly what it says it is. There's no technicality or or funny language, the gray area. You're getting a luxury sports vehicle there. This is not just a toy. Little over, let's see, a couple of days now, maybe like a week or so. Yeah, handful of times. Yeah. No. One thing I didn't realize though is that if you're not used to grinding something of this caliber, you have to do some physically active, because you need to be physically fit to a certain extent to control this thing at high speeds. Because if you accidentally switch the gear, then you accelerate. Ain't nobody there to help you but you. So I'm just saying, disclaimer.
All right, cool. So that was a good first impression, just a handful of rides. We'll touch base again in the future once it's a long-term ownership experience. All right. Nami Burn-E 2 Max.